And let's talk just for a minute about what intelligent automation and really artificial intelligence really is capable of doing, again, in present day. This will obviously be a moving target, and it'll continue to get better and better, but for the vast majority of commercially feasible AI, the goal is not to be as insightful as a human. It's not even barely that. If you want to use, I like using Tesla and autopilot as an analogy, I'll use it here as well. We had early versions of autonomous driving back in the 80s. We're still trying to get it right now. And not to be particularly crude or anything, but you and I both know our kids, not always the brightest bulb and not always thinking much about the thing about what they're supposed to be doing at the wheel, are still 10 times better than a Tesla, right? So
that's pretty scary,
isn't it?
Yeah.
Isn't it? Our distracted kids, sometimes I wonder, what on earth are you thinking, guys? Now they've grown up since then, and they mostly make good decisions and all that stuff. But you get my point. We have a lot of folks in our society that we give a driver's license that, frankly, are not super sophisticated people, and yet they're actually superior drivers than any autonomous driving tech right now. And we've got the best people in the world in AI definitely working on that, and there's a whole lot of progress being made, but we're still not even there. So let's just take it easy a little bit. This isn't the rise of the machines and Terminator's about to come and get us, and the business doesn't need any more people anymore because all of the thinking's going to be done. Don't worry about it. That's not it. Remember, machine learning, the learning part is from us, right? The goal of the model in a machine learning output is to hopefully be as good as us at doing something. That model doesn't understand the idea of, oh, this isn't even the right thing to do. The better thing to do is, right? So let's use a fun analogy, right? We're never gonna see. By the way, I'm calculating tax this way, but what I really think we should do is get rid of the tax system, right?
It's like, well, why are you paying so much? Just don't pay it anymore. Yeah.
Yes. Or you know what I decided to do is being the software making this, I decided that this is way too much in tax, so we're going to find a tax advantage location for us to. The model doesn't embody that training. It's not going to make that prediction. So what it necessarily is a subset of a very small subset of the human's capacity for doing things, right? Especially on the invention or innovation side. So what we have to do is remain ingenious. We have to continue to think, okay, this is our present world. How can I be a part of making it a better one? Because that's not going to be encoded in a model. That's going to be actually trained into a model by the person who has that idea.
And that kind of goes back to what people say, disruptive companies or disruptive technology. Like the disruptors basically just have less constraints on the business than the enterprise. So it seems like a big deal when you're like, oh my God, these guys do it so much better. They basically just don't have the same number of constraints.
That's right. And if you let those constraints go, because most of those constraints are around change management of people, and in some cases physical assets, right?
And they're probably
but
not
in most
current
cases,
right?
Yeah, that becomes a very significant challenge. But if that large enterprise is capable of shifting the execution burden onto intelligent automation and away from people, it'll execute at a whole different level. And it can be its own disruptor, right? It can do that. Its own people will have less of the steps to perform, but more of the thinking to do and more of the inventing to do. That large enterprise disrupts by essentially obsoleting its own goods and services and coming up with a brand new thing, right? We have a current product that's selling pretty well. The invention that will, if we don't make it, someone else will and take our business from us, I think is this. That's not a machine that's going to make that determination. It's not a machine that's going to even, machines could certainly aid in the analysis, right? But a machine is not going to even make the decision among these three prototypes, this is the one that we should go with. That's going to end up a human or or a collection of humans, and the construction of everything that ends up more intelligent automation is all humans.